Hey, what's up? Joe Blow here with a review for Max the Curse of Brotherhood. This Xbox exclusive caught my eye with its interesting style and creative gameplay. I instantly downloaded it and have to say it did not disappoint. Mostly. The story of Max the Curse of Brotherhood is pretty similar to that of The Labyrinth. The only difference is you don't have to stare at David Bowie's package throughout the entire thing. You play Max, a seemingly adventurous little boy who likes to play pretend. Your little brother annoys you, so you look up how to get rid of him. You look it up on Giggle. Get it? Do you get it? And you find a curse that you speak aloud to get rid of him. Within seconds, a giant monster hand reaches through to grab your brother Felix, and with only a moment of hesitation, you quickly jump in after him. The rest of the story isn't really important, or anything new. You meet some random lady who tells you an old wizard guy is going to try and consume your brother's soul so he can be young again. Then she dies, sort of, and talks to you throughout the rest of the game. As you move forward, there are a few scenes that progress the storyline, but nothing of any weight. Just something to break up the gameplay. You can skip them if you just want to play straight through. Bottom line, you're not going to play this game for the story. There's no real emotion, the dialogue is cheesy, and you know exactly what's going to happen every step of the way.
Your weapon contains my soul.
Not that it's a bad story, it's just generic, something placed in the game to make it something other than random puzzles.
Go on, pick it up.
Now the gameplay is where this game really stands out. You make your way through the various levels with growing abilities. You have a magic marker that can, by the end of the game, draw rocky platforms, branches, vines, water, and even shoot purple fire. When I first saw the trailer for this game, I thought this was another cheap way to get people used to the Kinect, and that you would have to hold your hand out every time you wanted to use the marker. This was not the case, thankfully. By holding down the right trigger, Max throws his marker out, then you can just move it about to draw your necessary elements. This was interesting in and of itself, until I realized that it's not just pressing a button and the element draws in the direction the game designers intended. You have full control over the way the elements draw out. That lent itself to having some fun creative ways of solving puzzles, which is what this game is all about. It's not without faults though. It takes a little bit to get used to moving the cursor about, and sometimes it requires the kind of precision that you just can't get with a thumbstick. Also, there are a handful of action sequences in the game that test your ability to animate and time your movements. The game's not really built for creating things quickly, so you'll stumble a bit before you get it down to a rhythm. However, the checkpoints were very forgiving. The game did crash on me twice, which was very frustrating, but it loaded me right back up to the last checkpoint. No, you cannot pause the cutscenes, and hitting the Xbox home button will take you back to the home screen, but the cutscene will still be playing in the little square. There is the option to skip the cutscenes by pressing the Y button, and while I usually veer away from this, I'd say you wouldn't miss much if you have to skip it in order to pause your game. You bet. A puzzle game about kids? Nothing too bad here. Some of Max's death scenes might be a little too intense for really young kids, but there's no blood. You could drag this out over a month or so if you wanted to by just playing each sub-chapter every other night. There are an average of 4 per chapter and 7 chapters total. Honestly though, you'll probably just play straight through and beat it in about 3 to 4 hours. I don't think you could rent this game anyway, so it's a buy, but it's definitely worth the money. Overall, this game looks great with a claymation style and very beautiful level design throughout. The gameplay was super fun and felt very natural save for a few hiccups, and there's just the right amount of puzzles to be solved. The story was lacking, but I never really expect much from the story in games like these. Wouldn't hurt if it was more interesting, but didn't take away from the fun either. Definitely check it out.